It says we're live.
I think it's there. It says
That's-
send it on Facebook.
Oh yeah, it does. It says we're live.
It's send it
Yeah, we're live.
Yay!
Yay! Are we
Cheers to
here?
that.
Okay, I think we're there, everybody.
Yeah, we're
And
live.
so if you
Drinks up.
if you're with us on Facebook, we say welcome to our cocktail and Christian conversation hour, half an hour. And we're doing this a little differently this week because of all of the other stuff that's going on. So you kind of see us in 4 different locations. And thank you for joining us. So Darrell, I'm just going to give this over to you to take over and go from there, and we'll see what's happening.
Okay.
How are you? Just go.
All right. I'm not looking at the Facebook thing. I'm looking at the Zoom thing. So I'm looking at like the Brady Bunch squares. What do people see on Facebook?
It's Jan's
same
fault.
thing.
It's
I
Jan's
see
fault.
us.
They see the same thing.
Is it the same though? It's like
Yes.
They see
Hollywood
us.
Squares. Am I Paul Lynde? Am I in the middle?
Yes.
All right. Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Christians and Cocktails. We always been trying to be very careful with the hand sanitizer and whatnot, and the very select group. But still, as it goes on, more and more caution is urged. So we've taken it to another level, and we are now in 4 different locations because Robert's at the office and I'm at home, and then the other couples are in their home. So now by doing this by Zoom, we're figuring it out today because we've not done it this way before, but it seems to be working okay. But by doing it by Zoom, we can actually add people to the panel. So this week, just like always, you can text in your questions, we'll respond. But starting next week, you can actually be one of the squares maybe if you'd like to be. So work that out with Robert. Do not bother me with any of that because I will be useless to you. I will be useless to you with the technical stuff, but Robert knows everything. And so if you'd like to join, I think on Zoom, we can have up to 100 people. So let's don't do that, but we can have, another 5 or 6. So we'll work that out. So that's that. Christians and Cocktails, week number, whatever. And we have a lot of questions already. We have one from a week or 2 ago, I think 2 weeks ago already, we haven't gotten to yet. And then we have a pretty big one from today. So we're going to start with that one. And then we have some others that have been rolling in over the last several days. So we'll start with the latest one, the one that just came in today. And we never say who they're from. I know who this one's from because it was a signed email, but we'll still keep people anonymous. But the question is, this is a good one. The question is, I find that the more I learn about religion and the Bible, I come away with more questions. Yay, that's good. In today's cocktail time, can you talk about the soul? The soul.
The
Soul.
Oh,
Okay.
Soul. Little hamster car made by Kia. No, the soul. So can you talk about the soul? Can you help me understand how to define the soul? Is it the part of me that will be taken to heaven, or does it refer to the person? Is it the book of my sins that will be judged on? And so that's the question. And based on the details and the nature of it, I'm guessing Catholic or Mormon, this person. So
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. No, I know who it was. It was a guy. It was a guy. So anyway, so what is the soul? I actually took a course in seminary taught by an Orthodox Jewish biologist, and it was just that. It was like, what is the soul? That was the name of the course, I think. And so a whole semester of just talking about this topic. What is the soul? And it was a biologist from Columbia University, came across the street to Union Theological Seminary to teach this course. And so it just happens to be something that I can talk about. I can't really answer it because nobody knows, but I can talk about it because I did so and got a grade on it. What is the What is the soul? The soul is the psyche, right? So when we're talking about soul, we're talking about our emotions, we're talking about our memories, we're talking about our thoughts, we're talking about our feelings. So all of that is the soul, it's the psyche. So basically when you hear people talk about body, soul, and spirit, soul basically means mind or psyche or consciousness. So that's what we mean by the soul. Now, but what is it? When I say consciousness, when I say feelings and thoughts and memories, that's still not a thing I can put my hand, right? That's still not a thing. So it's still sort of nebulous. And in fact, in Buddhism, there is a concept called no soul or no self. Mm-hmm. And that's a little confusing because that's different than Western minds tend to think. But what they mean is there's nothing separate. There's not my soul and your soul and another soul, that we're all connected. We're all part of the same isness. And so my personality seems separate from yours, maybe. We seem disconnected in lots of ways, but really there isn't a lot of separateness. There aren't separate things out there. We're all part of the one thing, the emptiness, the void. And so some whole philosophical systems say that the soul as an individual separate thing is an illusion. Christianity, very influenced by Greek thought. Greeks, they had a soul. The soul was the real you. And that's the thing that went to the underworld and lived forever. So there's a lot of philosophies and a lot of religions and a lot of opinions. And so that's something that we just work out. We continue to talk about, think about. But what we're talking about, the soul is the part of us, whether it's a real thing or whether it's just an expression of one big universal thing. Remember the Transcendentalists talked about the oversoul, that the oversoul, the one big soul, the source of everything, that was one of their words for God. And so whenever we're defining the soul, that's complicated, that's philosophical, that's opinion, that can change. But that thing that may or may not be a thing that we're talking about is the collection of our thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, and that sort of thing. It's the psyche. So that's the answer. The answer is there is no answer. The answer is you figure out what you believe about it. Now, there was one more part of that question. Does it have something to do with Judgment Day? Is there a book of sins, and is it the soul that is judged? With that, I'm not going to be academic. With that, I'm not going to be fair or impartial. With that, I'm just going to say I absolutely do not believe that. But again, that's just my opinion, experience, belief, whatever. But this idea that we have inherited from ancient times, that God is a judge, and that we are guilty until proven innocent, or guilty until shown leniency or mercy, that is not part of my experience of God. Certainly not my adult experience of God. It's not what I believe about God. It's not what I understand about God. It's not what I teach about God. And so whatever the soul is, I do not believe that it is in peril. I don't believe that it is in trouble because we didn't say the right things or belong to the right group or have the right opinions, or because we made certain mistakes. I don't believe any of that. I don't believe that in the ocean of life, God is a shark. So whatever the soul is, I don't think it's in trouble with God. I don't think God's job is to judge it, condemn it, save it from its own depravity. I really, really take seriously the creation myth that says when God looked at everything God had created, God called it very good. I believe that. I believe that still. I don't believe in the fall, which has a lot more to do with St. Augustine's thinking in the 5th century than anything that the Jewish writers of those stories wrote. I don't believe in a fall. I don't believe we fell from perfection. I believe we are still evolving toward it, that we are innately good, and we are still learning how to believe that and express that. And so we are evolving toward our perfection, toward the innate perfection that's inside us somewhere. But I don't believe we were good for a minute, made one mistake, fell, and now we're in trouble forever from the big boss God. That is that is not something I ascribe to. It's not something I teach. It's not something that makes any sense to me. So whatever the soul is, whether it's one big collective thing, whether it's an individual thing, we work that out. I do believe that our essence is divine and that our essence is eternal. How that plays out on the big screen of eternity, your guess is as good as mine. But I absolutely do not believe in a judgmental, angry, hateful God. So whatever the soul is, it's not in trouble with God. You guys have something to add to that?
Do you delineate between the terms spirit and soul, or do you use them interchangeably?
I use soul and mind synonymously.
Okay.
Spirit, because soul is an experience. I do have thoughts. I know what my thoughts are.
Mhm.
I know what my feelings are. I know what my memories are. Spirit, I can say I experience spirit, but I'm experiencing it probably through my mind. You know what I mean? And so spirit is more nebulous. Spirit is more philosophical or something. And so, just for me. Other people, I have heard people say that soul and spirit for them is the same thing. And okay.
So would you describe it as more like kind of like subconscious or unconscious? Like it's like sort of part of our minds that we don't necessarily understand or access?
Which one, soul or spirit?
Spirit.
Our turkey brain.
Yeah.
Brain. That's not how I say it. That's not how I would say it. That doesn't mean that someone who does say it that way is, just as right as anybody else. I think of spirit as, here's the thing. The word just came to me. I am a monist. And monism is the belief that there is one substance to everything. A material monist says that substance is matter. So everything is what you see. What you see is what you get. The physical world is the real world. So a material monist is that. A spiritual monist says the one thing that is real is spirit. So spirit is sort of the energy, the stuff, the whatever is real, even between subatomic particles. That spirit is the stuff that everything is made of. It's not material. It's energy. And so for me, spirit is energy.
Okay.
Soul is mind. Spirit is energy. And so, but that's me. I mean, the turkey brain thing, that maybe that's what you think. It's these are fun questions. These are fun questions to play with. I think the joy is in the playing with them, not coming up with the answer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
but I am a spiritual monist. My experience at 53, check me at 54, could be very different. But my experience at 53 years in life is that I'm a spiritual monist. That the one reality, the one substance, the thing that is the thing of everything for me is spirit. And so it's the energy of life. And then soul is sort of my experience of life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
Makes sense.
What else? Boys in the bottom corner, what you got?
How funny. We're on the top corner on our screen.
See how we all see
Yeah,
ourselves
you're
differently?
like-
Yeah. Too funny.
Anyway.
Yeah, I've been to parties like that.
Top and who's on the bottom.
All right, are we ready for the next question?
Yes.
Sure.
That question came from a very nice man named John. John, I hope we did it justice. So, our next question. Oh, y'all, check this one. Are you ready for this? Y'all are not ready for this, I promise. Are you ready for this? Are we not meeting on Sundays because we don't really have faith?
What?
Really?
Wow.
Well, and I know what, because let me put my glass down. I'm gonna need both hands for this.
Is this like a RuPaul moment?
But we are meeting.
This is a RuPaul tissue moment.
Virtually.
Right. We first of all, we are meeting. We're not meeting with a lot of people in the room because we're being careful. But we are meeting. Thank God for technology. Things would be so much worse if this were 20 years ago. Yeah. And so, in fact, we've gone through swine flu and Zika and bird flu, and AIDS and Hep C and lots of, Ebola. We've been through lots of things. And this is way more communicable than some of those. And we're more connected also. So we're able to support each other through it in ways that are as unprecedented as the problem.
Yeah.
And so, yay. But I know why that question, I know why people might be thinking that, because there are I don't want to say a whole string of, but a few. There are churches, mostly in the South, it seems. I said always my people. There's some churches in the South that are making sort of a big deal of we're not closing. We're in fact, some are busing people in to increase the crowds. And so look at our faith. Look how faith, look, we have really faith. We're not scared of no virus, and we're going to pack them in. One guy, I think it was in Little Rock, Arkansas, a week or two, he had the people lick the floor. The pastor was like, to show we're not scared, we're going to lick the floor. I don't know that there's a lot of corona on the floor. I mean, the bigger test might have been to sneeze on each other. I don't know. But but so this is sort of in the realm of snake handling. If you really have faith,
Oh,
Well, and it's like challenging God in a way.
right?
Yeah.
Right? So here's what I think about that. I am by nature a defiant person. So I promise, the thought occurred to me way long ago, we're going to remember if there's 10 people in the room, whoever shows up, we'll just do it. That went through my mind. It did. It's part of, you don't tell me what to do, right? And it's part of, I don't run scared. I mean, 9/11 happened, by 9:13, I'm on the subway. I'm like, you know what? You will not tell, you know what I mean? You will not keep me from living my life or whatever. So I think that's a pretty healthy impulse, like I'm not going to run scared at the first sign of trouble or whatever. And as more information comes in, it is foolish to ignore the new information.
Yeah.
So yes, your first impulse will be like, I'm not rushing to fear. I'm not going crazy with this. I'm not going to, become a survivalist and start hoarding food and toilet paper. And good for you. Good first response. But as more information comes, okay, more careful. Okay, washing our hands a lot. Okay, now maybe we wear a mask. Okay, now maybe we only meet in groups of 10 or less. Okay, now maybe we're going to so even if you're doing it a little slower than the CDC would say or whatever, eventually you have to say, this is the information and I'm going to adapt to it. I remember once someone asked the Dalai Lama, who believes in reincarnation, and it's kind of a tenet of his religious tradition, what would he do if it could be proven to him without any question that there is no reincarnation? And he said, I would have to stop believing it. Just that simple. He's like, if you could prove it, I'd have to stop believing it. I'd still be Buddhist. I'd still honor the teachings of the Buddha. I'd still practice the teachings of the Buddha. I would still do everything. I just wouldn't be certain that when you die, you have another experience. So he said, if you could prove it, I would change my opinion. And I think that's the kind of advice we need here. As the scientific advice and medical advice rolls in, I even know in the first couple of weeks of this, I even knew nurses and doctors who were like, nah, I'm not sure yet. Well, they're more sure now. And as the information rolls in, you adapt, you change your mind. Right. Better to err on the side of caution because we have people's lives at stake. And, we don't, and if someone gets sick, we can't even go visit them in the hospital. You know what I mean? Because they've even got the hospitals and the nursing homes on lockdown. And so no, it is not a lack of faith that keeps us from meeting. It is a lack of wisdom and a lack of compassion that is busing people in big bus loads to take unnecessary risks, especially in a world of technology where we can get the message to you, where we can talk face to face, where we can support our ministries financially with lots of ways of online giving, not to mention the good old USPS, which is still operational. I mean, we can do things. You have to be creative. It's a lot of work. It's not the exact same experience. I long for the day that we have a room full of people again. I mean, that's going to be one of the best days of my life when we get back together again. But in the meantime, I think it is faith. Faithful means trust. Faith means trust. It doesn't mean belief. It doesn't mean the intensity of feeling. Belief is trust. And I trust that God has given us the capacity to deal with difficulties. And one of the ways to deal with this difficulty is to be careful so that we're not close enough to enough people to hurt them. So faith isn't magic. If I just believe hard enough, it'll go away. Oh, who is this fool? Some guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but like he's blowing away the coronavirus online. Have you seen it? Like that's his little magic trick. He's a pastor. He's like, in the name of go away, virus.
Who was the one that was devising?
And we know better now. We know things. We know that snakes and donkeys don't talk anymore. We know things that we know that there is no such thing as a virtue.
We know there are viruses. Nobody in the Bible knows a virus.
Things now.
Nobody in the Bible knows a virus.
Didn't know before.
Exactly.
So, and by the way, Stephen Evans for the win. He'll understand.
Oh, okay.
He picked Whoopi Goldberg for the Center Square to win.
Celebrity Square.
Okay.
Also,
Cheers to that one.
Cheers.
So guys, hang on. We got about 9 minutes left.
All right. Well,
I want to check in with Tito because Tito's monitoring the comments.
yeah, I was gonna say real quick, the anchors from It's Happening Out are watching us live right now. So
We love them. They have made our Sunday morning so great.
Yes.
We're doing well in this because of their aid.
Yes,
They came to us at a
thank
miraculous
you.
time. We
Thank you,
love
guys.
them. Watch It's Happening Out, everyone, and Q
Yeah.
News
Yeah.
tonight.
So Al Ferguson's watching, so we say hello to Al.
Hi, Al.
Hi, Al.
And Napoleon plays. Hi, Napoleon.
Hi,
Love Napoleon.
And Misty Eyes.
Misty.
Misty, mwah, mwah. Misty's the greatest.
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Oh, good. Thanks.
So, and I don't want to be flip about that, but no, it's true. I think we're being very faithful by taking care of people.
Yeah.
And I think maybe people who are doing the other thing are also trying to do the right thing. I just think they're misguided. And like I said, in the beginning, we didn't know what we knew. So I'm going to forgive people, even myself, that, because my first impulse was like, really? Okay, we have our emotional responses. But were we in week 5 now, week 6? And really, if we had known what some people knew, we would really be in about week 13. Well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But, we're weeks into this. We know more than we knew. And so to act like we don't, willful
Very
ignorance
comfortable,
is that's not doing anyone any favor, the willful ignorance. So, no, I think we are being faithful. And if you miss us, we miss you too. Forgive us for having to do this. But I don't think it's a lack of faith. I think it is an abundance of wisdom and compassion.
And I will add this. I think what we're seeing a lot also play out, just reading people's comment on Facebook, is that people are trying to find that new norm, really, because nothing's going to be normal after this, I think. And I'm
The world has changed.
looking at people who are talking about, I'm finding more time to meditate. I'm finding more time to relax. I'm finding more time just to be with myself and my partner. So I think that there's going to be lots of teachable moments that are going to come out of this. And I think we just kind of have to be open, as the old Baptists would say, let's see where the Spirit blows. And let's see what happens, because I think the good will come out of this. Yes, there's sadness. There's already been death, and this is going to be a teachable moment for us as a society to listen to Mother Earth and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
We've been told forever now that the planet cannot be sustained the way we are abusing her, and we've also been told that we can't sustain our life. That we're too busy, we're too hectic, we're too anxious. We have a lot of illnesses, high blood pressure and whatnot, that we have exacerbated. And you know what? The world is changing now. Already, like the air quality is improving in some places. Already, we are figuring out that we can slow down and still get things done, but also take care of ourselves. So maybe this is a huge shift that's going to benefit us in the long run. We'll see. We also... We have a capacity to learn, but we also have a capacity to forget. And so we'll see. But this can be an opportunity. We can let this be an opportunity. I almost felt guilty that I was talking about how much I'm enjoying spending time with my family. And, it's like, should I be enjoying things right now? This is a scary time. I should be but honestly, I'm enjoying the family time. And so, and maybe that's just always the key. Okay, this is not like I would want it, but this is the blessing. Maybe we just always look for the blessing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right, we got another 5 or 6 minutes, huh?
5 minutes.
You want to tackle it? It's the
Yeah, I
internet.
haven't
It's
seen
they're
any-
not going to cut us off. We can go, but okay, whatever.
I can.
You can. Of course, I know you're in charge.
I haven't seen any new questions come in yet today, and I just asked if anybody has any questions before we end the show.
Okay, well,
I guess
we
can
got some.
continue.
Yeah, we got plenty in the can. So let's tackle one more. Oh, here's one. A preacher said Corona was God's punishment for accepting Muslims and gays. Can that be true?
I thought
No.
AIDS was AIDS punishment.
Right? See,
So we're
It's a
getting
fundraiser. It's a fundraiser.
right?
It's a fundraiser.
Here's the thing, right? Like AIDS was, and now it says, well, but now that, see, this one has worked in the Muslims, you see.
Mhm.
We weren't mean enough, non-Muslims weren't mean enough to Muslims. So is God killing old people and children and doctors and nurses? And, like, first of all, the problem with this God is mean and just looking to kick a lot of ass theology is that in this theology, God never has very good aim.
Yeah.
Right? God is going to send the thunderbolts because God doesn't like Muslims.
Yeah.
But doesn't just target Muslims. God is
Right.
sending thunderbolts because God doesn't like gays, but doesn't just target gays. The problem with theology is that God is a terrible shot. And that it never works. God takes out, this angry God takes out some folks, but then eventually a cure or a peace treaty or some technology comes along and the problem is solved and all the people that God hated are still around. So what this is, and Franklin Graham is part of this. I mean, this may even be in response to Franklin Graham. He says crazy things about whoever he hates all the time. Turns out God hates all the people he hates. Isn't that nice? Is that when you are that scared of people or that angry or that hate-filled, that's what your God is. That's whatever's most important to you is your God. So for a lot of people, that's money. For a lot of people, it's their prejudice. And so when hate and fear and prejudice is your God, well, your God is always looking for someone to strike. And so, no, God loves Muslims. P.S. Muslims love God. It's a religion. It's a whole thing about God. God loves Muslims. God loves Jews. God loves Christians. God loves people who don't believe in God. Because God is love. And love expresses. Love doesn't hate anything. Love can't be hate. Hello. And so, and atheists, Buddhists, people who say they don't believe in a God, they do believe in love, and they believe in hope, and they believe in beauty. And God is the symbol for all of that. So mostly we are all valuing the good that some of us call God, but for the good to be good, the good isn't targeting anyone. The good isn't hating anyone. And so, no, I 100% reject any idea that any disease or war or accident or natural disaster is God's way of saying, I hate who Franklin Graham hates. I 100% reject that. And, the rain falls on the just and the unjust. Sometimes it's all sunny and beautiful, and sometimes it's rainy. Just life happens. I know really beautiful, good people who have really crappy days. It just happens. And so what has happened, there was something I saw recently, and this is a very sort of Jewish way of thinking about things, I think, where someone asked a rabbi about, was God sending the problem? And the rabbi said, no, God was sending the answer. So when people gathered together to support each other, when people were giving each other food, when people were giving each other phone calls of support, when people were praying about each other and wishing each other well, that was the God part. That God wasn't sending the problem. God was in all the loving response, trying to figure out the solution. And that theology I agree with. That theology I will certainly share. So no, I don't think that this virus or any other problem is sent from God, and certainly not sent from God to target groups and communities. This is life. This is nature. God is in the loving, compassionate responses that are getting us through it. And you're going to hear a lot about this on Good Friday and Easter. I don't think God is the cross. I think God is the cross. Didn't get the last word. Evil, injustice, cruelty, empire. That's the cross. Resurrection is the God part. So that's what I believe, that God, yes, pain happens, healing from the pain, that's the God part.
Well, I think it's a good spot to stop because we're ready at 6:30, our allotted time. But I do just want to remind everyone who is watching to please join us the rest of this week at noon for Midday Prayer. One of the staff members or our senior minister will be doing the Midday Prayer at noon. Also join us on Good Friday. We're going to be live streaming our Good Friday service at 7 p.m. And then on Easter Sunday morning at the 10:30 service, of course, we'll be live streaming that. And you also have an option to be on campus with us. It's kind of like, think of it as the drive-in movie theater option. So
You got to stay in your car.
you got to stay in your car. You have to stay in your car, log in.
Use your own data. You got to use your own data on your phone and iPad.
But
you can be in the car to get dressed up and be at Easter service if you want.
If you want, and just ask someone to stay in your car. And at some point during the service, we're going to have someone actually come out to bring pre-packed Ziploc bags of. We're gonna have a goodie bag for you. I won't tell you what's all that, but we're gonna have a goodie bag for you. So if you want to show up on Sunday, 10:30 to 10:30 service only, we invite you to do that. But a reminder to you'll be staying in your cars, and we'll have people in the parking lot to be with you. So thank you for joining us. It's always great to see everyone online, and we really do appreciate your comments, and also appreciate all the ways that you support us here at the Sunshine Cathedral. And Darrell, you're gonna have the last word.
I want to say one more thing. Because you were talking about the IHO people, it's happening out, and Q News Tonight, we love them. We know that Chef Josie she put on Facebook that she has been quarantined for health reasons, and so we just want to wish her well, say that we love her. She's part of that whole team that we love so much, and so we're thinking about Chef Josie and praying for her and wishing her all the best.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for being with us again. And glasses and A&W root beer, whatever I got in my hand up. Have a good week, everyone. Stay safe. Take care. God bless. We'll see you again on next Monday at 6 o'clock. Christians and Cocktails.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.